Hello, Dr. Joe here of the drjoe.com and the 2020 from.com. So if you remember in my last video, I gave you a nice smoothie recipe that's supposed to help you fall asleep and also stay asleep. Hopefully you're getting joy from having that very smoothie. Now in today's video though, we're going to be doing the flip side of that. What that means is that I'm going to be talking about foods that you consume in the evening that will disrupt your sleep. Yes, there are foods that actually stop you from sleeping when you consume them in the evenings. And in this video, I've got 14 foods. There are more, but I have handpicked 14 foods that disrupt your sleep. And the way the video is going to work is that I've grouped those 14 foods into 3 or 4 groups. And I'm going to punctuate the video by telling you why that group of foods will stop you from sleeping properly. So yeah, it promises to be an interesting video. So without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, let's talk about the foods that make you sleep poorly. So food number 1 is cheddar cheese. Okay, cheddar cheese. Food number 2 is feta cheese. Feta cheese. Food number 3 is kimchi. Kimchi. Food number 4 is sauerkraut. And food number 5 is soy sauce. Included in this is Worcester sauce, by the way. So soy sauce and Worcester sauce. Food number 6 is salami. Food number 7 is pepperoni. And food number 8 is corned beef. So let's talk about why these 8 foods disrupt your sleep. What is common to all of those foods is that they're all aged foods, meaning they take a long time for them to be made. A lot of them are fermented foods. For instance, the feta cheese a good feta cheese takes about 9 to 12 months to make, which means it's aged. And that means that a lot of chemical reactions do take place in the course of the aging process. So a lot of the foods have original tyrosine amino acid in them. Okay, so they got tyrosine amino acid originally in them. And as the food is allowed to age, the tyrosine gets converted to tyramine. Tyramine is a chemical messenger in the nervous system. And what tyramine does is that it displaces another chemical messenger called norepinephrine, also called noradrenaline. So when you have high levels of tyramine, which all of those foods have because they are all high tyramine foods, when you have high levels of tyramine in the food, and of course when you consume the food, you're going to have high levels of tyramine in your system because all the tyramine gets absorbed. The tyramine will displace the norepinephrine, the noradrenaline, and then you're going to have high levels of noradrenaline in your circulation, in your nervous system. And high levels of noradrenaline will mean your nervous system activity is activated, which means you're going to stay alert. And that's the reason why those aged foods will keep you awake. That's why those aged foods will disrupt your sleep, because of the high levels of tyramine, which leads to high levels of norepinephrine. Make sense? So that's the main reason. Now let's move on. Food number 9 is pizza. Food number 10 is burger. Now let's talk about why pizzas and burgers will disturb your sleep. So the reason why the pizza and the burgers will disrupt your sleep is that they are high fat foods. Now when you have a fatty meal, it takes longer to digest, which means it disrupts your circadian rhythm because your bowel is also supposed to obey, is in sync, I should say, with your circadian rhythm. And when you keep your bowel active because the food is taking longer to digest, it means your circadian rhythm is going to be disrupted. It means your sleep is going to be disrupted. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that high fat foods, the fatty meals, can also cause indigestion. And of course, your guess is as good as mine if indigestion will help you sleep. You know, there's no way you're going to sleep very well if you've got indigestion. So that's reason number 2 why, you know, the burgers and the pizzas, if you eat them at night, they will make you sleep poorly. Now, before we continue, just to talk about my book, if you don't have a copy yet, please do get yourself a copy. It's a book about high blood pressure and how to fix it with lifestyle approach. You should get it if you've got high blood pressure. If you don't have high blood pressure, you should also get it as well, because if you do the stuff I talk about in here, you are going to prevent high blood pressure. Now, let's continue. Food number 11 is green tea. Food number 12 is black tea. And food number 13 is coffee. So let's talk about why these 3 foods may disrupt your sleep. Well, the reason why the black tea, the green tea, and the coffee will disrupt your sleep is quite obvious. Is due to the substance called caffeine. Caffeine has lots of mechanisms why it will disrupt your sleep. But the one I want to talk about is the fact that caffeine blocks adenosine. Adenosine is built up in the course of the day, and that's the reason that you have that high sleep pressure that makes you fall asleep at night. Now, caffeine blocks the action of adenosine. Caffeine is an adenosine blocker. Anything that blocks the activity of adenosine means your sleep is going to be disrupted. The second reason is that caffeine also revs up the sympathetic nervous system. And if you rev up the sympathetic nervous system, then you're going to stay alert, then you're going to stay awake as well. So 2 reasons why caffeine is not your good friend in the evening if you want to have a good night's sleep. Now, let's continue. Food number 14 is alcohol. So let's have a word about why alcohol may disrupt your sleep. Right, so as for alcohol, well, where do I start? The list is endless. You might think alcohol helps you sleep, but of course it does affect your sleep really badly. It may help you fall asleep easily. Why? Well, the reason for that is that when you consume alcohol suppresses neuronal activity, okay? So it lowers neuronal activity. And when you lower neuronal activity, it means you can fall asleep easily. You feel sleepy, and then of course you go to bed. The problem with that is that a couple of hours later, what happens is that you have a rebound activation of the neuronal system. The nervous system gets activated, and that's the reason you're likely going to wake up around about 3 or 4 a.m. after consuming alcohol before going to bed. And of course, once the nervous system is activated, that's it. You're going to find it difficult to fall asleep again. The second reason is that alcohol increases your cortisol level, okay? And of course, cortisol and sleep, they're not good bedfellows, no pun intended. If you have high cortisol levels, your sleep is going to be very poor, almost guaranteed. The third reason is that alcohol does suppress the production of serotonin. And serotonin is a precursor, is the parent molecule of melatonin. Because when you add the acetyl and methyl groups to serotonin, that's how you come up with melatonin. So anything that suppresses serotonin production also means it's going to suppress melatonin production. So, alcohol is not your friend as far as sleep is concerned. It may help you fall asleep easily, but you're going to have that effect later on. The quality of the sleep is never good. So like I always say, I'm not being judgmental when it comes to alcohol. It's your choice as to whether it's a food that you're going to be consuming. As far as sleep is concerned, even if you fall asleep, the quality of the sleep is never going to be good. You're not going to get good, rapid eye movement sleep with alcohol. You're not going to dream well. And of course, that means you're not going to get restful sleep. So hopefully you got some value from this very video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please like the video, and also please share this video with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues. If you've got any questions regarding the content of this very video, go ahead, leave your comments or questions down below. I think that's about it. Until next time, well, this is Dr. Joe signing out.